All right, get ready because today we are diving deep into the world of temperaments.
Ooh, temperaments.
Have you ever felt like you were kind of hardwired to react in a certain way?
Huh.
Or like wondered why some people just always seem so chill and others are like just buzzing with energy all the time?
Yeah, like what makes people tick?
Exactly.
I've always been fascinated by that.
Yeah. So this deep dive today might give you a few aha moments about yourself and others.
Okay.
We'll be exploring the system of 8 temperaments, and it's based on a text all about self-knowledge and virtue development.
Sounds pretty deep.
It is, it is.
I love that.
So, what's really interesting to me about this approach is that it's not saying that temperament is like your destiny.
Right.
It's more about recognizing your natural predisposition, those inborn tendencies
Yeah.
that influence how you interact with the world and with others.
Exactly. It's like understanding yourself better.
Yeah, so you can leverage your strengths and kind of navigate some of the, potential challenges.
Why? Because we all have those.
Absolutely.
So before we actually like map out these different temperaments,
Right.
we need to get clear on the difference between temperament and character.
Okay, so temperament versus character.
Right.
Lay it on me.
So temperament is like the raw material. It's that foundation.
Mm,
It's inborn, right? But character is built on top of that foundation.
okay.
It's shaped by our habits, our experiences, the choices we make all throughout our lives.
So nature versus nurture.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that makes sense.
So in this deep dive, we're really focusing on that temperament layer,
Okay,
bedrock level.
gotcha. Now, I remember, back in my philosophy nerd days, learning about the classic 4 temperaments.
Oh yeah, the classic 4.
Sanguine, choleric, melancholic, phlegmatic.
Those are the OGs.
Right, right.
Right.
Is that still relevant to what we're talking about today?
Oh, absolutely. Those ancient thinkers, they were onto something fundamental.
Mm-hmm.
But the source material we're looking at today takes it a step further, fleshes it out into a more nuanced system of 8 temperaments.
8, wow.
Yeah. And it does this by adding in 3 key variables.
Okay.
Emotivity, activity, and resonance.
Oh, okay. Break those down for me. What are
Oh.
those all about?
Let's start with emotivity.
Okay.
Emotivity is basically like the volume knob for your feelings.
Okay.
Do you tend to experience your emotions really intensely?
Mm,
Or are you usually pretty calm, even-keeled?
okay.
Then we have activity,
Right.
which is all about your drive to do things
Mm,
versus your tendency to, contemplate and reflect.
mm.
Are you somebody who jumps into action, or do you prefer to carefully plan and strategize?
So are you a racehorse or a chess player?
Exactly. Those are great analogies.
My God.
Yeah. And then finally, we have resonance.
Okay.
This is how long impressions, whether they're positive or negative, how long they stick with you.
Mm.
Do you bounce back quickly from setbacks, or do you kind of dwell on things?
So someone with high resonance might still be stewing over a comment from like days ago,
Yes.
but someone with low resonance, they would just shrug it off.
Totally. Exactly.
Interesting.
So it's the interplay of these 3 things, emotivity, activity, and resonance,
Yeah.
that creates the 8 different temperaments that we're going to be exploring today.
Okay, I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right, which one should we start with?
Where do we begin?
Let's start with the passionate type.
Okay.
These are people who are a force to be reckoned with.
Mm-hmm.
They're driven, they're ambitious, they can really focus.
Okay.
Imagine like a volcano,
Ooh.
powerful, potent, but also potentially explosive.
I know a few people like that.
Right.
Like their enthusiasm is contagious,
Yeah,
but I could also see how that could lead to some friction.
for sure.
If you question them or...
Yeah, if you question their authority or criticize their work, you're going to,
Right. Yeah.
you might be in for it.
Yeah.
So they have a really strong sense of their own vision, and they can be fiercely independent. So for our listeners out there who are like, yeah, that's totally me, I'm a passionate type,
Right.
what advice would you give them?
Yeah.
Self-awareness is huge.
Okay.
If you recognize this in yourself, this strong will, this tendency to challenge authority,
Mm.
the first step is not to suppress it,
Okay.
but to channel it effectively.
So how do you do that?
Find mentors who inspire you, who can guide you without making you feel controlled,
Okay.
and learn to temper your reactions.
Right.
Remember, a well-placed argument can be persuasive,
Right.
but an emotional outburst might alienate people.
That's great advice. Yeah.
So we've got this image of a passionate type,
Yeah.
like a volcano,
Volcano.
full of potential energy, capable of amazing things.
Right. Right.
But with great power
Right.
comes a need for self-regulation
Okay.
to learn how to harness that fire.
Right.
Now let's switch gears
Okay.
and talk about the choleric type.
Okay, what do we got?
If the passionate type is a volcano, the choleric type is a wildfire.
Ooh.
Fast-moving,
Yeah.
energetic, prone to sudden bursts of, well, everything.
Everything.
Yeah, they're the ones who dive headfirst into projects, but might leave a trail of unfinished things behind them.
Okay, I know some people like that.
I think we all do.
Always have like 10 new ideas brewing.
Yeah, exactly.
Light up a room with their energy, but maybe make some impulsive decisions.
Yeah, but that impulsiveness, it can lead them to make mistakes.
Sure.
It's also the source of their dynamism.
Okay.
Choleric types bring a real spark.
Mm.
They're quick to take action. They're natural leaders.
Mm-hmm.
And often they have this charisma.
Yeah, it sounds like a roller coaster.
It can be.
Full of thrills and maybe a few spills.
Right.
So what can our listeners glean about the choleric temperament?
If this is you, if you're like, oh my gosh, that's me.
Right.
Remember, your energy is a gift, but you got to learn to channel it effectively.
Okay.
So prioritize your projects. Focus on completing what you start. Be mindful of how your impulsiveness affects others. A little planning and forethought can go a long way.
It sounds like, with all of these, so far, it's not about limiting yourself.
Right.
It's about understanding yourself.
It's about understanding your natural tendencies.
Yeah.
So you can choose how to best direct your energy.
Right.
And how to navigate those challenges that life throws at us.
We're all going to face them.
We are.
Yeah. All right, so are you ready to meet the sanguine type?
Oh, bring on the sunshine.
All ears.
So if the choleric type is a wildfire, the sanguine is a bubbling brook.
Okay.
They just bring joy and laughter wherever they go.
Hmm.
They're the life of the party,
The sanguine?
Sociable, charming.
Yeah, I think we all know a sanguine.
Yeah.
Always up for a good time. But our source material did mention one potential pitfall for them.
Oh, what's that?
Superficiality. Is
Yeah.
that something our listeners should, kind of watch out for?
Yeah, it's something to keep in mind.
Okay.
The sanguine's love of novelty and their desire to please everybody
Right.
can sometimes lead them to, skim the surface of things. They flit from one exciting experience to the next.
Oh, so they don't really go deep.
Yeah, they might not always dive deep,
Okay.
but that doesn't mean they're incapable of depth. It just means they might need to consciously cultivate that.
So it's like they have this incredible capacity for joy
Yeah.
and connection,
Yeah.
but maybe they need to remind themselves to pause and reflect,
Exactly.
go a little deeper.
Yeah, go beyond the surface.
Okay, I like that.
Cultivating mindfulness
Okay.
and introspection. Those can be really valuable for the sanguine type.
I see.
It can help them tap into their deeper emotions and build more meaningful connections.
And maybe even explore creative outlets, too, so
Oh.
they can, channel that energy.
Yes, channel that bubbling brook energy.
Right, give it some direction.
Yeah.
Purpose.
Exactly.
Okay, so now I'm curious about the sentimental type, because the source material was describing them as having this incredible capacity for joy, but also suffering,
Yeah.
which seems a little paradoxical.
It's a bit of a paradox.
Right.
But the sentimental type, they are a study in contrasts.
Okay.
They experience their emotions deeply and intensely, kind of like the passionate type,
Okay.
but they're not as outwardly expressive.
I see.
So imagine like a deep, still lake,
Ooh.
calm on the surface,
Okay.
but teeming with life below.
I love that image.
They're introspective, sensitive, and fiercely loyal to those they love.
So like the still waters run deep kind of thing.
Exactly.
But they experience the highs and lows really intensely.
They do.
What kind of challenges would that present?
Well, because they feel so deeply, they're incredibly compassionate,
Okay.
empathetic friends, but it also means they can be easily hurt.
Oh, yeah.
And they might hold on to grudges.
Oh, okay.
They might need more time than other types to process their emotions and to, find peace after a conflict or disappointment.
That makes me think about how different temperaments might handle relationships.
Yeah.
Because if a sanguine and a sentimental type had a disagreement,
Right.
their approach to conflict resolution would be totally different.
Absolutely. And that's why it's so important,
Yeah.
not just to understand our own temperament,
Right.
but to recognize those of the people around us.
Yeah, you're speaking different languages.
Exactly. It's like emotional languages. It can help us approach disagreements with more empathy understanding.
Right, because you realize that people process things differently.
Right, and express themselves differently.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So we've explored some of the more emotive temperaments.
We have.
Are you ready to dive into the realm of the less emotive types?
I'm ready for anything.
Okay.
Lead the way.
All right, let's meet the apathetic type.
Okay, the apathetic type.
Now, before you jump to any conclusions,
Okay.
remember, apathetic doesn't mean uncaring
Okay,
or lacking in emotion.
gotcha.
It just means their emotional volume knob is turned down a bit lower than some of the other types we've talked about.
Okay.
And this can be a real strength.
Okay.
Think of them like the Stoic philosopher,
Okay.
calmly observing the chaos of the world without getting swept away.
Right, they have that inner peace,
They do?
that stability.
Yes.
Okay, I'm starting to see the appeal,
Right.
but I imagine low emotivity could also have its drawbacks.
Of course.
What would be some of the challenges?
Well, one potential pitfall is that their calmness, if it's taken to an extreme,
Right.
could lead to a lack of motivation or engagement.
Okay.
They might not have the enthusiasm to pursue goals
Okay.
or to connect with others on an emotional level.
Right, it's all about balance.
It is.
So finding that balance,
Exactly.
recognizing the inner peace,
Yeah.
the stability,
The calmness.
but also finding a way to channel it
Right.
into meaningful action and connection.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
Now let's move on to the phlegmatic type.
Okay, phlegmatic.
They share that low emotivity with the apathetic type,
Okay.
but they tend to be a bit more active and engaged with the world.
So if the apathetic type is the Stoic philosopher, who's the phlegmatic?
Imagine like a slow and steady river
Okay.
calmly making its way to the sea. That's the phlegmatic type.
Okay.
Reliable, patient, even-tempered. Not easily swayed by things.
I feel more relaxed just thinking about it, but
Yeah.
are there any downsides?
Well, their aversion to conflict
Okay.
and their desire for harmony
Right.
could sometimes lead them to avoid making tough decisions or taking risks.
Okay.
They might struggle with procrastination,
Right.
preferring to stick with the familiar
I see.
rather than venturing out.
So it's about finding a way to gently nudge them.
Yes, nudge them out of their comfort zone, encourage them to embrace new experiences, challenge themselves to grow.
Okay, I like it.
And now for our next temperament. We're shifting gears once again.
Ooh, shifting gears. I like it.
Ready to meet the nervous type?
Bring on the nervous energy. Okay, so we've explored those calm waters of the apathetic and phlegmatic types.
Right.
Let's dive into the vibrant energy of the nervous temperament.
Okay.
Now I'm picturing like a hummingbird,
Okay.
flitting from flower to flower, just constantly taking in new experiences.
I love that image.
Yeah.
The nervous type, they're characterized by like a high level of sensitivity
Okay.
and a very vibrant inner world.
Mm.
They're always absorbing information, impressions from the world around them, which can actually make them super insightful
Okay.
and creative.
I can see how, like, that sensitivity would make them very attuned to subtleties
Absolutely.
that others might miss.
For sure.
But I'm also wondering if that could also make them prone to feeling overwhelmed
Yeah.
or anxious.
Yeah, especially in a world that's, often so chaotic and demanding.
Yeah. Right.
It's
Exactly.
a double-edged sword.
Okay.
That sensitivity, it allows them to experience the world so deeply
Okay.
and richly. But it can also make them, more susceptible to stress and anxiety.
Right.
They might find it hard to, filter out external stimuli.
Right. So it's like they have all these antennas picking up on all the signals.
Picking up everything.
But they need some help figuring out how to, like, tune out the noise.
Yeah, they need to learn to tune out the noise.
Focus on the signals that really matter.
Right.
Okay.
So things like mindfulness practices can be super helpful for them.
Like meditation.
Yeah, meditation, deep breathing exercises,
Okay.
creating a calm and supportive environment. That's also really important.
I see.
They thrive in spaces that feel safe, nurturing,
Okay.
where they can kind of let down their guard and really express themselves.
Yeah, like they need a sanctuary to process all those intense experiences.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've journeyed through 7 temperaments now.
We have.
Passionate, choleric, sanguine, sentimental,
You go here.
apathetic, phlegmatic, and nervous.
We've met them all.
Now I'm ready to meet our final temperament,
Okay.
the amorphous type.
Ah, yes.
Now I'm intrigued by the name.
It's a good one.
It sounds mysterious.
It is a bit mysterious.
Okay, so tell me about this amorphous type.
Think of them like a chameleon.
Okay.
adapting to their surroundings,
Hmm.
taking on the colors of those around them.
Do they blend in?
They do. They're flexible, adaptable. They go with the flow.
So I'm imagining, like, someone who's comfortable in all sorts of social situations.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm also wondering, could that lack of a strongly defined sense of self be a challenge?
That is a great question.
Yeah.
And it can be.
Okay.
That adaptability is great in a lot of situations.
Right.
But it can make it tough to figure out
Okay.
who they are
Right.
and what their purpose is.
Okay.
They might have trouble making decisions, asserting their needs,
Right.
pursuing their goals.
Yeah. So it's like they have all this potential.
Yes.
But they need to, like, find their shape.
They need to find their shape.
And their direction.
Exactly. So for them, the journey of self-discovery is about,
Yeah.
exploring different things,
Okay.
experimenting, trying on different hats, and figuring out who they are and what they really value.
I see.
Things like journaling can be helpful.
Okay.
Therapy, creative pursuits, things that allow them to express themselves authentically.
Okay. Wow. We have covered a lot of ground today.
We have,
From the fiery, passionate type
right?
to the adaptable, amorphous type.
Quite a range.
It really is. It's amazing to see the diversity of, like, all the different temperaments.
It is amazing.
Yeah.
And this is really just an introduction.
Right.
Remember, within each of these 8 temperaments,
Yeah.
there's a whole spectrum of individual variation.
Of course. No two people are exactly alike.
Yeah.
So it's not about putting people in boxes. It's about having a framework for understanding ourselves and others.
Exactly.
So for our listeners who are maybe thinking, okay, I'm definitely choleric or I'm so sentimental.
Yeah.
What's the next step?
What do they do with this information?
Yeah.
The first step is awareness.
Okay.
Recognize your natural tendencies, both the good and the challenging ones.
Right. The strengths and the weaknesses.
Yeah, embrace those strengths.
Okay.
Celebrate who you are, but also be compassionate with yourself when those challenges come up.
That's a good point. It's about self-acceptance.
Yes.
But it's also about knowing that self-awareness is the first step.
It's the key.
Yeah, to grow.
Absolutely.
Now, I love how our source material emphasized that temperament isn't destiny.
Right. It's not set in stone.
It's a starting point.
Yeah. A foundation.
Yeah, and we can build on it.
We can build our character.
Right.
We can cultivate virtues, develop healthy habits.
And work on those areas where we might stumble.
Exactly.
This has been such an enlightening deep dive for me.
It's been fun.
I feel like I have a whole new vocabulary now.
Yeah.
For understanding myself and the people in my life.
And that's what's so cool about this topic.
Yeah.
It's a lifelong journey of continually learning more about ourselves.
So, dear listener,
as you're going about your day,
pay attention.
Observe yourself. Notice your reactions.
See if you can recognize any of these temperaments
in yourself.
In the people you interact with.
Yeah, you might be surprised by what you discover.
Who knows? You might unlock some insights.
And remember,
it's not about labeling yourself.
Or others.
It's about cultivating understanding.
Empathy.
And a deeper appreciation for, like, the beauty.
The amazing diversity.
With human nature.
We're all works in progress.
Absolutely.
With our own unique strengths and challenges.
And that's what makes life so interesting.
That's the beauty of it.